Who'd be immigration minister?
The country founded by imported criminals is having problems exporting them. A bunch of Crims who have been waiting to be sent home are now on the streets of Australia courtesy of the High Court. The judges ruled that the government can't imprison someone indefinitely if the expulsion process takes a long time. Lawyers for a foreigner who was getting kicked out of Australia for raping a 10-year-old boy in 2015 successfully argued it was unconstitutional to keep the man in the Yongah Hill Detention Centre indefinitely, because that would be unkind to the man who raped the grade 5 student.
Why so long to send him home?
At the moment, we have the right to evict a person who commits certain crimes whilst in Australia on a visa. We quite regularly shunt mongrel mob bikies back to New Zealand or pedos back to the UK if we find out they're not citizens. A problem arises though when the country of origin refuses to take them, because your home might be in Afghanistan and the Taliban has more urgent paperwork to attend to.
Can't just chuck him on a plane?
A bunch of stateless crims on a jet, no, but a good movie plot.
Welcome to Con Air.
So we keep them in a detention centre near Northam where they can learn important life skills from people like Comanchero bikies. The High Court decision instantly freed a bunch of people, and many of these psychos now reside in the only place in Australia more inhospitable than Yongah Hill.
Thornley.
That's right. We found a little motel there that was perfect for them.
I don't think my sheets have been cleaned. They smell like cigarettes.
No, that's just the way they smell.
The staff at said motel are probably amazed to have long-term guests rather than the usual pay-by-the-hour hookers.
We're a very high-end operation and very discreet.
Government says we don't need to panic because the rapists, wife-beaters and murderers among the recently released group of people are being monitored.
Well, are they?
No.
The purpose of Operation Aegis is to individually case manage every single one of these people.
There's more than 80 of them. To properly monitor 80 people, you would need like 800 cops.
We will require continuous reporting on a range of different issues.
The best we can hope for is checking their TikTok posts from time to time. They're out and about and going about their business, so don't be surprised if you run into this bloke down at the Thornley Square shopping centre. Aliawa Yuwari is one of 50 former Yongah detainees who's now at large in Perth. Yuwari is a gem of a bloke, bashed a woman in 2016, was accused of raping her as well, but that charge fell over, gets a suspended sentence and celebrates that brush with prison by indecently assaulting a 64-year-old woman before bashing her neck with a walking stick. Now, he ain't the worst by a long way.
Disgusting crimes. Some of them have hurt people who are still here in our country.
Sex offenders, a murderer, at least one murderer. I believe there are 3 murderers. There are several sex offenders.
That's Federal Immigration Minister Andrew Giles and Home Affairs Minister Claire O'Neill making us feel better about what's just happened.
So, no money?
Nope.
No jobs?
Nope.
How are they living?
Charity. Mercy Care gave them $600 in cash each at the start, news that will be welcomed by hundreds of thousands of Australian families who can't make ends meet at the moment. They're on special visas that have conditions attached, kind of like being on bail. But Anthony Albanese will need to create special legislation to deal with this mess, which means a bloke doing his level best to stay out of Australia
Aloha, bitches!
is going up against a bunch of blokes doing their level best to stay in.
Well, the politicians better hurry up.
MPs will be acutely aware that if one of these people hurts someone while they are out there will be a community uprising the likes of which we haven't seen since Braveheart's wife got killed. But when you're relying on the Greens to get stuff through the upper house...
It's hard to rely on any of the pollies at the moment.
Especially in WA. We were warned that the Labor government's overhaul of how people are elected to the upper house could have unintended consequences. And now we're seeing proof. The West Australian Legislative Council, our version of the Senate or a House of Review, operates under a quota system. It used to be separated into different regions, but under laws drawn up by John Quigley, those regions are scrapped and the House will be elected statewide. Long story short is if you get 2.6% of the vote, you get a seat in Parliament.
First you get the sugar, then you'll get the power.
There are a bit over 1.7 million voters at the last West Australian election. Let's say there were 1.8 million at the 2025 poll. 2.6% of 1.8 million is about 47,000. It's not going to be that hard for a single issue group to get 47,000 votes. There are 15,500 nurses working in hospitals right now and tens of thousands more who are qualified but not on the wards. That's why the Australian Nursing Federation is confident it'll get a seat.
And the doctors actually listen to me.
I'm Ben Harvey.
2 young girls they matter to people.
There's unexpected turns and unexpected results.